Guys, just gonna make it bigger. I've got to make it bigger as always. I'm not sure about this lighting. Anyways, I love that I'm not ready. I know you love that. When I'm not ready, I probably should use one of my lights. One of the lights that Lisa got me. Let's go for it. There it is. I need to make it a cooler light. Otherwise, I don't know, it's going to keep me up all night. Oh gosh, I don't know where the remote is. Hello. Yes, please. Please do. I'd appreciate it. Looking for something that I can't find. I'm not sure if I can keep that light on because it'll keep me up. It's too cool of a light. I should have my remote somewhere though. I love that I lost the remote for it. That's really great. Oh, it's right here. I had a vision. Oh no, it's the wrong way. I've got to make it warmer. Please. No, that's brighter. Hold on. Oh my god. Okay, this is tripping. Anyways, how are you guys doing? You know what? I'm doing the wrong thing. That's why that was gay. Gosh. I was doing the wrong thing. Okay, that's better lighting for sure. Anyways, how are you? Hello, Sam. Sam I am. I don't know why I always think of that. But anyways, how are y'all? So I wanted to talk about quite a few things in this stream. I'm going to talk like this the whole time. So, and I'm just kidding. Could you imagine? I've got to represent my ASMR crush when I get started on here. But anyways, so I am going to talk about a few different things. First of all, we love the title. I'm going to talk about Pluto and Aquarius tonight. We're going to talk about Year of the Dragon. And I'm going to talk about how I'm choosing to be single and what that means. And I just have my questions about it. So we're going to get into those topics tonight. I'm going to knit because I've got to get on this more. But yeah, I'm not sure where I want to start. So we'll start with Valentine's Day. So as you guys know, Valentine's Day just passed. And it was like, I think because it was the first one where Pluto was in Aquarius, there was this really weird moment where a lot of people freaked out about their relationship status, or a lot of people, like, they really reflected on that. And I also noticed that a lot of people really celebrated Valentine's Day, extremely so, in a way that I haven't seen in the past few years. Like, it was literally like the holy holiday this year, which was weird. I haven't seen that. So I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I did. And I think it was just interesting because a lot of people are they're freaking out about their relationship status. And the reason is, I think it has to do with Pluto changing signs, because there's kind of like Pluto and Capricorn relationships versus Pluto and Aquarius relationships. And the issue is, if you cannot shift or if you can't change, then the relationships die. And I think that that scares a lot of people. And there's a lot of people that are single, like myself, that were really freaked out about being single. My favorite astrologer, he actually made a very long post about this whole thing, and I thought it was so dead on. And can you guys hear me, by the way? I just need to make sure. I hope I'm not like, I don't know. Just let me know. But anyways, I needed to make like I was thinking about it. Okay, well, bolt. So I was thinking about it just because. Oh, you can't? Are you serious? You guys. Oh, like you need to tell me if you can. Jeez. So anyways, I was obviously reflecting on being single or whatever. Oh, how could I have? Yeah, that's a good point. So anyways, I was just like, I I got asked out on a date on Valentine's Day. And obviously, like I said, I'm no exception. I'm very similar to the whole collective, as the new ages would say. I was similar to the collective, and I was reflecting on my relationship status as well. And so I was on Grinder, typical me. And I just kind of popped on because for a lot of times throughout my deaf year, throughout the mid fat year, I would just constantly check on Grinder and just see how I'm doing. Like I'd see, am I attracting people or not? Are they viewing my profile or not? Like I would just check. It's something I monitored throughout the year because I wanted to see, when the deaf ends, basically, which I think I'm getting to the point where it's ending now as I was asked out on the date. So as you guys know, I went from getting dumped to only having guys talk to me that were married or in relationships, oftentimes with women, which is really weird, to hearing nothing. Okay, to absolute radio silence. And then to just like eventually just basic hookup stuff, like very, very boring types of conversations. And then it finally progressed to a date. And I was like, okay, here we are, we've arrived. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily in the boyfriend zone yet. I was talking to Bot about that. And I was very much like, but, I swear, as soon as I get in the boyfriend zone, I'm going to have a boyfriend and blah, blah, blah. Like, I remember saying that because it's like just such a focus for me. And basically, I started to realize when I got asked on a date, that's like, okay, you're kind of being more taken seriously. Like, I'm getting out of this phase. But it made me reflect on if I actually wanted to date or not, because it's one thing to not have the option. Okay, no problems. It's one thing to not have the option, but it's another thing to have the option and then think about if you really want it, right? And I think a lot of us currently we're going through a huge shift in terms of how we view relationships and in terms of like relationship dynamics, particularly because of Pluto changing sign. And I think for me, it finally changed. I think it just clicked on Valentine's Day. And I was like, I don't know if this is a good time for me because it's like I'm not really thriving right now. I'm still on the verge. I'm not really surviving or thriving, as you guys know. I've been very in the middle, which is a super boring phase to be in. But that's where I've been. And I just thought about it and I was like, I have all these things that I want to do. I don't want to argue with this guy about my calories or something. Like, I just started thinking about all these different aspects and how annoying it would be to talk about like calories or something, or to talk about like just all these things that I knew he just probably would not have understood. And it's just like a vibe I was getting. He was young, he was like 24. Um, he's like 24 and stuff, which there's nothing, I don't mind him being young. It's just if I'm gonna sit there and like actually start over with somebody, it's like I need to actually have time and energy to put into it. And I don't. And so I was just like, I really don't have this. I'm not really even making it financially right now, honestly. I mean, the winter when I couldn't work that week, when it was ice, it completely set me back and I'm completely fucked. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not completely fucked, but I'm in a very bad position now financially. It totally set me back, even though I was doing really well before that moment. It completely set me back. So that's a disaster right now. And then it's like, I don't know if I have the ability to attract like the types of guys that I want or, like what I actually want. I'm not like, I'm getting better, but I'm not completely better. It's like I still have some health issues that I'm dealing with, even though they are fading, which bot you've noticed, like I haven't been messaging you about the serotonin as much. It's not as bad. It's still there. Like today I was agitated, but it wasn't that bad. But I also had like a more shallow deficit because I had my little Valentine's candy, which is kind of sweet. My grandma brought me some Sour Patch Kids. And I was like, I'm gonna have my Valentine's Day candy today. The crazy thing is I ate a big ass bag of Sour Patch Kids and I still am in a deficit, just barely, but it's a shallow one today. I'm still like 400 calories in a deficit even after eating that. I'm just like, wow, I feel like I have a steep deficit. Or I don't know, I feel like I'm in a pretty hefty one. But anyways, so I was just like, yeah, like let me just chill today. This is my little sugar moment to help push me through to the rest of the winter. But I was just like, I'm not really thriving like that where I'm doing amazing. Like it's still winter, it's still hard, it's still fugly. Like I'm starting to get winter fatigue where it's like I'm really, really, really sick of it now. Like I've been trying to be okay and it's like it's not over and it just feels like it's going on forever. I'm extremely bloated, extreme. Like my skin is so bloated. My skin looks like a grapefruit, and if I push on it, it's like it dents in and then it's bad. Like I'm extremely bloated, especially in my face. And it's just frustrating. It's like, gosh, like I just want this stupid fucking duff thing to be over. And it's like the fucking bloating is ruining it. It's going to push me back to the other side. And it's just frustrating. So it's like a very frustrating time. And I have to wait for the seasons to change. And I'm frustrated, So I was just like, I don't know if this is. So when I was thinking about dating, I'm just like, oh gosh, this is like ridiculous, to even be considering this. So I deleted all the apps on Valentine's Day. I got rid of everything. I deleted all my profiles. And I just am kind of in a phase where I'm like, I'm just going to let this go for now because for the past 10 years, I have been extremely focused on dating and romance and trying to make something work and like desperately trying to make it happen and all these things. And the weirdest thing to me is that I wasn't like that when I was like 20. I wasn't. I was completely calm about being single. And I wasn't like that all throughout high school. I wasn't like that until I was like 21. And then I had an experience, I fell in love and all that stuff. And it just kind of kicked me off on this trend where it was like 10 years of like tripping about somebody, being afraid of losing them, or trying really hard to get somebody, being really upset that I'm single, trying to, or being really upset that I lost somebody. And that was basically all I did the whole time. And so I hit this moment on Valentine's Day where it was like, I'm single and I don't care anymore. I'm single and it's fine. I'm single and I just think it's best. I need to just focus on my weight loss and just not worry about it. And it's like, yes, I still care about it. You know, I'm still kind of boy crazy, to be honest. Um, Very much so. Like my ASMR crush, he posted some extremely slutty pictures for Valentine's Day, and I was just like, he is so fucking hot. Like I just was going insane. Just looking at the pictures, it's like I was just like, oh my God, you know. So it's like I'm very like still like that, but it's like I'm not desperate or I'm not like I'm just not putting pressure on myself about it. Like, I think for such a long time, I was just like, I need to find somebody. I need to get married and I need to do this. I need to do that. And it's like, I just feel like that Pluto and aqua, right? It just came in and it's like, I don't care anymore. I'm not going to sit here and try to mastermind a relationship and try to hack it. And, you know, this is what I need to do. And this is what I don't need to do. And this is this and this is that. Like, I think I'm past that phase. Like, and there was a time and place for that. You know, I don't think Pluto and Capricorn was wasted. I don't think that it was a huge waste of time. I think Pluto and Capricorn just gives this desperation to relationships and an image focus to relationships and a control element to relationships that I just don't think is meant to continue into this next phase. And I think for those of us that were dating during Pluto and Capricorn, it was a time for us to do all that bullshit and learn. And now that's over. And now I think it's a lot more about relationships that just coalesce, relationships that just work, that you don't have to put so much work into, relationships that are not, that don't interfere with your autonomy, relationships that, you know, you don't interfere with their autonomy, right? So it's like it's a very different type of dynamic and situation that we're going into with this Pluto and Aquarius time. It's just, I like you, I like you too. Things are kind of just meshing together. We don't have to put tons of effort into it working, and that's how it goes now. That's the kind of dynamic it is. And I think it makes more sense to me now to think of it that way. I think for me personally, it has a lot to do with not being as hypo or not, you know, being in the hypo haze or just having that sort of desperation within a relationship and, you know, the serotonin and estrogen and all the stuff that goes on with me. I think that put my relationships into that kind of quality of control, you know, whether I was trying to control them, I wanted them to control me. Like, you know, freedom was too scary, for example. Like, you had a lot of those feelings in Pluto and Capricorn, or I was focused on my image in a relationship, you know, like we have to have the nicest things, we have to do the nicest stuff, we have to show, you know, I want to make sure that I'm with this kind of person because I'm worried about what everyone else will think. Like that's a very Pluto and Capricorn style of dating. And it's just out of style now. Like it's out of time, it's out of season, and it's just done. And now it's about, well, what do you like? What are you intrinsically motivated to be with? And do you need all this bullshit or not? You know, or it's that kind of thing. And it's just I've noticed the change in my mind and in how I view it. And so I think for the first time in my life, I'm just well, not first time in my life, but first time in 10 years, I fell in love and I wasn't trying to manifest anything. I wasn't trying to be in a relationship. I wasn't trying to do anything. I was single and I was fine. And someone found me. And at the end of the day, that may happen again. But also, if it doesn't, that's okay. Because I'm at a stage right now where it's like, it's not so much that I don't want to date or that I don't want to be with somebody. It's that I don't want it to be this struggle or I don't want to have to really, really work extremely hard to make it work with somebody. I just don't. I don't want to be constantly fighting with somebody. I don't want to feel like I have to live up to something for him or I have to, you know, I don't want to feel like if I'm counting my calories, the guy is going to trip out on me and be like, why are you counting calories? I don't want that. I just don't. And I think in a lot of ways, just taking the pressure off myself, I didn't realize how much energy I was putting into it. Like, I talked to Sam last night on the phone, and when I got off the phone, I wanted to check all the apps and I didn't have them anymore. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize how much energy I was putting into this with little to no result. Yes, it made sense to monitor it to see when I would get out of the duff, but if I'm getting out of the duff now, then there's no other need to monitor. Yeah, of course, Shannon. And I think too, the right person will it'll just flow. Like, I don't think I have to like play 10 rounds of chess and, you know, do all the rituals and do all this stuff and try to make it happen and cast all the love spells. And, it's like, you don't need to do any of that. If it's going to be, then it's going to be. If it's meant to be, then it will be. You don't have to. I just realized like when it comes to dating, you don't have to, it's not a job. Yes, there's duty, especially in a marriage. There absolutely is duty, but it's not a job. You can't force love to work. You can't, love is not a job. It's not something that you earn. It just is. And I think that that's what I understand. And I know that because there are certain guys that I do love. And it's not like we're together, we're not anything, right? But I still love them. So it has nothing to do with the effort. Oh gosh. Yeah, Taylor, oh gosh. I think she did a love spell to get Travis, and I don't think it's gonna work. Actually, I think maybe Lady Gaga did a love spell for her. I don't think it's gonna work out at all. I just don't. I talked to my grandma, and she thinks that there's no way that they're gonna last through the whole year. She said there's no way. She basically told me that if they had lost the Super Bowl, that it would have been over faster. But she said because they won, it's gonna last a little longer. So my grandma is just like, no way. She's like, I don't see it. It's not gonna work. And yeah, pretty much everybody has a resounding thought that Travis was incredibly embarrassing at the Super Bowl, which is hilarious. I don't think I've talked to somebody that didn't think that. Um, that's funny. But anyways, I mean, and Sam was I've had conversations with Sam about this too, where he's kind of told me that when it comes to like womb manifestation and, this type of stuff in love, like you have to be careful to not try to force something because it could kind of it could backfire. Like if you're not meant to be with that person, so to speak, then all these issues can come in that you didn't foresee. But at the same time, I feel like the inverse is true too. Like if you are meant for that person, then you don't have to work so hard. You don't have to fight so hard to manifest and all these things. I just don't think you need to. I think it's just something that will naturally occur. Like, two ships will naturally meet in the night, so to speak. It's like you just kind of you're on your paths and then you come together and it's just organic and you don't have to like try so hard or like just have that fiending thing. And I had this weird, like, not epiphany, but I had this weird moment today where I was like, I wonder if the fact that I'm finally letting it go, it's gonna bring it in, which is so gay because I always hated that saying where people would be like, you find love when you stop looking or whatever. I hate all that. It's so gay. It drives me nuts. Um, but if it ends up happening to me, I'm gonna be kind of mad almost because I don't want those people to be right. I don't. Um, but hey, I just think where I'm at, no matter what, is like I'm open to love in the sense of like if something comes on and it's special or it's something worthy of taking that risk, if it's something that I feel like, okay, let's see, right? Then I will. But I'm not going to settle at all. And I'm not going to just try to be with somebody just to be with somebody. That's not going to happen. I have my goals, I have my sense of purpose, I have the things that I want to do. And if a person works with that, then that's great. And if they don't, then that's okay too. Then I hope they find what they're looking for, you know? But I had a hard time because that guy, he was just like really like, well, when are you done working? When is this? When is that? And then and I asked him, well, what are you doing today? And he's like, nothing. And I'm just like, I can't be with someone like this. Like, I just can't. Um, so I think I realized too, like, I really do value a very ambitious guy because I think I'm ambitious too. I feel, and it might not be a traditional ambition or it might not be ambitions that other people see as ambitious, but it's like I have a lot of goals and I don't think I had that sense of ambition before I almost died. I think it came from clawing my way out of this. And, before I did have some ambition, but it was kind of more about my image and it was more about like, I want to show everyone up, as some kind of a revenge, which is very Pluto and Capricorn. It sounds so dated now. Um, but that's like where I was at, like back in 2018 and 2019, like that phase. I was just like, I want to show everyone up because they burned me. I want to show them how wrong they were about me, and I think that could work for a time, right? I think it was timely back then, but that is just so not it anymore. It's just over. Just sounds old. It sounds really, really old to me. It sounds like, oh, that's dated. Like what an old way of thinking about things, right? So I think it's like, I don't know if it was like real ambition, whereas this is like actual ambition. It's like intrinsic, it's ambition that doesn't leave me even if nobody's around, has nothing to do with my image, it has nothing to do with anyone else. I just have a goal and I'm going to do it, you know? So yeah, I just felt like, I guess I don't think I'm resonating with that type of person because it's like, I don't know, I'm just not that way. I'm like ambitious now, Um, and just all these things. So I think it's just like not settling and not pursuing it. I'm not pursuing it. I'm not on the apps. I'm not doing it anymore. So I'm just like if I'm single for the rest of the year, I'm fine. That's kind of how I feel. I think I would revisit it probably around November or December, like I would think about it. But even then, it's like that's going to be the holidays and stuff. And it's like, I'm not going to want to date somebody during the holidays. So if nothing happens by the next year, I'll probably make it more of a goal in 2025. Like I think in that year, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to look for somebody, or I'm going to like I'm ready now kind of thing. I feel like I'll be ready by then. I'm not ready now in terms of like, I just need to kind of get my shit together. So I don't know. It's really weird for me. It's just very bizarre for me to not be thinking about trying to find somebody or thinking about not having somebody or thinking about any of these things, or thinking about the person I have, right? It's like I'm not doing that anymore. And it was kind of exhausting, honestly. And even last night I was like, wow, this is so weird to just not care about it anymore. And just be like, it doesn't matter. Like I thought about it a little bit while I was laying in bed and I'm just like, it's such a relief. And then today I was hanging out with my grandma and I was cupping and I was like, I don't have to worry about trying to explain these bruises to a guy. It's like, I can just do my thing. It's like, that's what I want right now. Like, my body is changing a lot. And it's like, I just can't prioritize that right now. It's just laughable. It's just ridiculous. I think the whole time it was kind of ridiculous. Like, when I look back at it, it's like, I really should have focused on my health, not dating. But, when you're young, you can be dumb. And I was fighting my ED, which is good that I was fighting it. But I also was like, I'll focus on my weight later. Like I had that thought so many times in my 20s. I'll figure it out later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And it just kept like getting worse and worse and worse. And then my health collapsed in 2020. And it was like, I can't wait any longer. And I remember when 2020 happened and the whole thing started, I thought, oh shit, I haven't taken care of my health. And now this is going to challenge my health. I'm fucked. So it was a huge reality check. Huge. And then my health kept getting worse. So it was kind of insane. And then literally the past 3 years, it's like I had to just pour everything into my health to get back. So all those years of me, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. It finally was like, no, I'm doing it right now or I'm going to die. So I'm doing it now in 2021. I'm doing it now in 2022. I'm doing it now in 2023. And they were all very miserable, horrible years in so many different ways. But it's like this year, it doesn't feel as bad. And with that, we can transition to talking about the year of the dragon, which is super big. I'm glad you're here, Shannon, because I know you're interested in the Chinese zodiac. So let's get into it. We were just in the year of the rabbit. The year of the rabbit is a very introverted year. It's the bread and circus year. It's distractions. It's fear. There's a lot of fear in the year of the rabbit. It's dark. It's a dark time. Typically, it's a dark year. And it can be a boring year as well because it has a lot to do with, if you think of a rabbit, it stays in its hidey hole. It comes out. It does its little routine, but it's very, very, very on the ground, right? Super, super myopic focus, very, very on the ground. And then it goes underground again. And there's a lot of running out of fear and just looking for food and then running back and hiding. And that's the year of the rabbit. It's that very much that feeling. And it's a strange sensation to go from the year of the tiger, which is 2022, which the year of the tiger is you got to run, you got to run, you got to run. you constantly have to run and hunt and fight and go and go and go. Because if you ever stopped in 2022, you could die. And that had a lot to do with the inflation that year. It was so crazy. So everybody just had to keep going and going and going and going, or you could lose ground. It's like if you weren't constantly moving, you would lose ground. And it was exhilarating, but it was exhausting. And it was a time where you could spin 10 plates at once, right? So when we think of the year of the dragon is kind of like a love child between the year of the tiger and the year of the rabbit. It's a mixture. So essentially, this is a time when there's an introverted phase of the year and an extroverted phase of the year. So instead of just being all extroverted all the time in 2022 or being all introverted all the time in 2023, it's both. So the year of the dragon, you can split it into 3 different sections, okay? The first section is from February to April. That's where we're at. So by April, I mean basically till May 1st, right? So that's the first section of the year of the dragon. This is the transition period from the year of the rabbit. And so this is the time when we develop our wings, okay? This is the time where you're still underground, you're developing your wings, you're creating your wingspan so you can do a lot more later. So this is a time when people are getting their shit together. This is a time when people are focusing on things, when they're trying to get more time, more money, right? So maybe some reductions. Like I know some people, like something that is like that would be like moving to a new place where the rent costs less, right? If you think about like how much that could free up some of your time or free up some of your money, that's the kind of thing that is a good thing to do in this beginning part of the year of the dragon. It's giving yourself a wingspan. So trying to create more space and more time. And for me, obviously, it has a lot to do with health. It has a lot to do with, the Duff effect, right? So continuing to lose weight, continuing to get healthier, and getting to a more manageable, morbidly obese rather than super morbidly obese. That's really what is important for me to do between February and April so that I can do more in the next phase. So the next phase of the year is from May through October. So that is the very extroverted time of the year of the dragon. That is the time when you can accomplish a lot very quickly. You can make 3 years progress in that time. So you can do a lot. It's a time when things take off. It's a time when we can really move ahead and move forward. Nice. That's great, Shannon. So we can do a lot during that time, especially if you don't burn yourself out in the first 2 months. And that's probably the biggest danger, is getting burnout between February and April. Because if you do that, you can fuck up the extroverted phase of the year. Okay. So if you fuck up and burn yourself out, you can kind of break your wings or blunt your wings, and you won't be able to fly as far in the middle part of the year. So that's the danger right now. The second part of the year is very air element. There's a lot of air in the astrology during that time. So there is a lot of flying. There's a lot of actually covering ground, people flying in planes and stuff, traveling, doing things, getting out there, taking off. The last phase of the year is from November to January. November to January is kind of a reflection point. It's when you've broken through something and you think back at what you accomplished. So that's the last introverted phase of the year, is that last part. So we go in and out. So what else I want to say about the year of the dragon is just more about it in general. So it's very it is kind of romantic, which is interesting, but it's also a time when things take off. And this year, it's the wood dragon, which that means that a lot of things that are going to happen have to do with long-term momentum. So it makes it a little bit less crazy, but it's also like a little bit it's more hopeful, and it's also more like long-term momentum, right? So things that you've been working on for 4 years, this is when it could take off, is this year. So there's some hope there. So if you think about long-term momentums, long-term things you've hoped for, this is when it can occur. So that's another aspect of it. Another aspect of the year of the dragon is there's a lot of fighting and there's a lot of vying for power. Now, there's also a lot of political stuff that typically happens in a year of a dragon, which makes perfect sense. I mean, hello, we're in the 2024 election cycle, right? So there's a lot of times where people with egos will go crazy during this time. People that have ego issues, they can really, really, really struggle in the year of the dragon, because you can face a lot of scrutiny and you can lose a lot because people don't like it, basically. So you have to be a little careful. And I would say people that have huge egos, they're vulnerable. They're a little bit more vulnerable this year. So people that we can think of, right, that we can relate to on this channel would be like Donald Trump. He has a huge ego. He's vulnerable. People are going to be attacking him all year. Taylor Swift. Oh my God. That woman is going to be canceled, I swear. If not now, then she will absolutely be canceled in the year of the snake. Not a doubt in my mind. But she is on a one-way fast track to cancellation. Like, it's insane. I should like do a video about how she's going to war with everybody. She's literally Joe Biden in pop star form. Like, she's trying to have a 3-front war. She's going to lose. She's going to have some issues. And Tim Pool has a huge ego. I think he might experience a scandal this year. I would not be surprised. So those are some examples of people that have big egos. So the other part of the year of the dragon is it's a lot about expression, right? So if you think of a dragon, it breathes fire. And breathing fire has to do with like it's expressing your emotions and expressing yourself and putting things out there. And that's going to be very, very in fashion this year, especially when Jupiter goes into Gemini, which is in May, in that May phase, May to October. So people will be putting everything out there. But it is important to remember that, we saw some astrological transits that are not super supportive of this, like South Node in Libra. So just be aware of what you're putting out there. It's good to be a little bit calculated with what you share and what you don't share. You don't want to alienate people. You don't want to get in fights. Like, I don't think it's a good time for that at all. So it's just, obviously you have to share some things and you need to express yourself in the year of the dragon, but it's important to choose a little bit so that you can soar even higher, right, than the mainstream. The other thing that we need to do is we need to really keep in mind that this is not 2022, okay? A lot of people are going to feel like this year is 2022. It's not. It is not the year of the tiger. So people are going to feel like they can say anything, do anything, fight with anybody, have 10 plates spinning at once, do it all, right? Burn the candle at both ends. There's going to be a lot of people that feel like they can do that again. They can't. It's not real. You can only do that in the year of the tiger. That's the only time you can in the Chinese zodiac. It's only 1 year out of 12 that you can burn 10, you can burn yourself at both ends and spin 10 plates and just spew everything out there. It's not going to be that way. So it isn't like that at all this year. It's, try not to spin 10 plates, try to spin like 4. It's better than 2023 where you could spin like 1, maybe 3. So maybe in the year of the dragon, you can spin like maybe 5 or 6, right? It's an in-between, right? So think of it that way. Like, you have more to work with You can do more than one or two things at once, unlike 2023, where it's like you had to have this super myopic focus on one or two things. You can do more than that in the year of the dragon, but you can't do as much as you could in 2022 because you will burn out and you will not be able to fly. Okay. We also have to remember that the year of the dragon, there's a lot of very grandiose moments where you kind of fly and do something dramatic and you have like this fire spewing moment and you're just like, I'm amazing and this is incredible. And then you leave and then you hide away and you rest. So that's how dragons are too. Dragons hide in caves and they hide underground. So they go out and do something and then they hide away. So there's still an aspect of introversion in this year that I think is important to acknowledge. Especially these 3 years of the Chinese zodiac, the rabbit, the dragon, and the snake, they all have connotations of being underground, which means that they're kind of introverted of years. And these are like more internal transformation focused, although the dragon is also external transformation as well. There's a lot of power dynamics that will change in the year of the dragon. So there are ways to gain legitimacy. There's like coronations, right? There's, you know what you're talking about. People can experience that this year where they're kind of coronated or told, or they're seen as an authority on things that they weren't before. So there's a lot of action that's going to happen this year. And I think that that's ultimately what's most important, is to just realize that it's not going to be like last year where almost nothing happened in our personal lives. And it was just a lot of scary things in the world that were meant to keep us home. It's not like that. This year, it's like there's a lot of spirituality. The dragon is a magical being, right? The dragon is not, it's a kind of a fantastical beast, right? And that means that this year is magical. There's going to be things that occur in the year of the dragon that we can't explain logically. There's going to be spiritual things that happen this year, and religious things and magical things. There will be people casting spells that are really bad and toxic, right? So it's a very interesting year. I think it's one for the books, and it hasn't even really flown in yet, But I'm actually really feeling a lot better in this energy. I feel better than I have in a lot of years. Because I think I like it. I like that, the feeling of it where it's like you get out there, you say something, you argue, you do a little spat, and then you can kind of go away and relax. I like it. So that's really what's supported this year, is that type of dynamic. And just don't burn yourself out and don't be afraid, because you gotta sometimes fight too during the year of the dragon. But yeah, that's basically my synopsis of the year of the dragon. If you guys have any questions, then I can try to answer them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. 2030, I'm not sure. I can look it up. I'm not that familiar. I know what element it will be. It will be a metal year. But I don't know what animal it is. Where the hell is my phone? Here it is. I'm wondering if it's like, it's the dog. Okay. Yeah, the dog is a little bit different. I did not have a good time. Ooh, I got some subscribers. Yay. Anyways, so yeah. So I guess it's the metal dog. That should be interesting. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. I'm actually really excited about the year of the dragon. When we stepped into this energy, I really liked it pretty much from the start. I think for me though, I don't know if it's that I love it that much or if I just really fucking hated the Year of the Dragon. I mean, the Year of the Rabbit. Because I really hated it. Like, I honestly, it was just awful. Like, it was horrible. I don't even know. God, I just hated it. How did you guys like the Year of the Rabbit? If you guys, like, how was your guys' 2023 experience, basically? Maybe some people liked it. Yeah, that was last year. So it's the stay home, stay safe, the Chinese balloon, everything from the Chinese balloon until the Swifter Bowl was basically the Year of the Rabbit. Yeah, I'm sure it did, Shannon. Yeah, I know you loved it, Sam. I really did too. Huh. Yeah, I loved my absolute serotonin terror that I had all the time. That was great. I mean, I liked that I could rest a little bit more during the year. I liked that there was less pressure on me, but I didn't like being weak. It made me weak. I felt very vulnerable because of my serotonin issues. Like, I felt so vulnerable and weak and scared all the time. Like, and I didn't like it. I liked the tiger a little better because could just go be a big bitch to everybody and I loved it. But I like this year because I feel like it's more balanced. It's like you can be a little bit more calculated in how you fight people, but then you can rest. And it's kind of like you can just fly above it all. You can be above it. It's just different. So I think I'm gonna like this year a lot. I think this is a good one for me because I like this kind of energy. Yeah, that too, Shannon. I agree. They are smart, and I think there's a little bit more tactical stuff, and I like the mythology of it, and I like I'm gonna be so interested. I'm so interested, like, in how Taylor is going to war with her ex-boyfriend, and he's, like, totally gonna fight her. It's, like, so interesting. So there are a lot of, like, very dramatic fights and a lot of, like, these types of dynamics going on. Because again, like, Trump pledging to wage holy war upon her if she endorses Joe Biden. Like, how interesting would it be if Taylor and Trump were fighting this year? Like, it's like, whoa, it's like WWE, it's at least more exciting. Rather than last year where it's just like everybody's using Taylor as a distraction from how miserable they are in life and just praising her and praising her and praising her. It was just like boring me to absolute death. I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot stand this. It's like, this is killing me. So as far as being a Swiftie, I already like the Year of the Dragon a lot better. For sure, in the Swiftosphere. I love that Travis embarrassed himself. He has a huge fucking ego. So again, he's definitely one of those people that's vulnerable. But I think for us normal people, it's important to keep your ego in check with the Year of the Dragon. It can get the best of you. And we have to be a little careful with that, especially considering the South Node in Libra. It's just not good. It's not good to start fights with people. It's not good. It's not good to just talk shit about people for no reason. It's not good to just hate people and then talk about it publicly. It's terrible to do that with South Node and Libra. It is just not a good thing because people want peace and balance. So if you can come across as peaceful and balanced, you'll do a lot better, especially in 2024. And it's not about being above it all as a dragon in the sense of having an ego. It's about being above it all in the sense of having a purpose and having a goal that kind of soars above the quabbles and fights and bickering and especially, myopic focus of the Year of the Rabbit, right? That's how we're evolving. We're leaving the myopic on the ground, nose to the dirt type of feeling, and we can soar above it, and we can go towards a very grand purpose if we want to, and I think that that's really what it's about. So I'm really excited for this year. I have a really good feeling about it, and I usually don't. I think a lot of people will hate it. Like, don't get me wrong. I just think that I'm gonna like it. So don't like take it as like, oh, this is gonna be an amazing year. I think for a lot of people it'll be really horrifying, especially people that have ego issues. They can have a really tough year, you know. So I would just definitely put this one for the books. It's gonna go down in history for sure. We already know that because we have a new Pluto and Aquarius at the same time. We have all this air energy. We're going to have Jupiter in Gemini and South Node in Libra at the same time. It's going to be interesting. There's a lot of air this year, which means it'll push people to be more extroverted. There's going to be a push to be talking with people and arguing debate style, not like arguing about, personal stuff like that. It's different. This is a very ideological time where we might fight about like emotional things. Will be in the year of the snake. That comes after. So that's where you can get into that like emotional, well, you just da, which is kind of similar to the tiger as well, where you just like fight about personal quabbles and stuff a lot. This year isn't like that. It's like debate, it's politics, it's ideological stuff. A lot of people changing their minds ideologically. There's a lot of wake up calls, a lot of red pill moments, right? There's these types of things that are going to happen in the year of the dragon, where a lot of people change their minds. It's a very big mind changing year, but it's more intellectual and it's logic. It's not the emotional change. The emotional change takes place next year in the year of the snake. So it's really interesting because that year has to do with like shedding your skin and like having a very deep transformation throughout that year. This is more of an ideological transformation, a logical transformation, a political transformation, a cultural transformation, right? So it's very much about the public and it's about culture, politics, all these things. This is really what the year of the dragon is about. Yeah, it is perfect for the election, but things happen when they're meant to, right? Makes sense. We typically, I think it typically, we'll see what happens. Well, I think the last year of the dragon was 2012. So that was a very political year too, to be honest. And in 2013, everything was different. Everything changed. So that sort of ideological shift did occur in 2012, and it brought those deep emotional shifts in 2013 that I had a lot of drama in 2013. Holy crap. I'm kind of nervous about the year of the snake because the year of the snake is it's potent. Because the last 2 years of the snake, it was 2013 and 2001. So 9/11 happened in the year of the snake. So, and again, if we think of the 2000 election, that was the year of the dragon as well. That was a very political election. So we are in a super political election. This is an important one. This is for the books, right? So it's going to be very spicy, I think. For sure. But I agree with you about it. It is perfect for this election. It makes sense. I think this is just so potent for the year of the dragon. It's really interesting. Oh, man. But yeah, I think that's basically all I had to say. I appreciate you guys. I really wanted to get on here. I can't stay on for like super long. I didn't scoot, but I do have to go because I have to work tomorrow. I have to, again, it's the year of the dragon, right? I just get on here, I say my dramatic thing, and then I go. But yeah, I just wanted to update you guys on that really, really bad. I wanted to talk about all this stuff a lot, but I'll be back. I'll be back when I can. I want to do stuff for my other channel. I'm really focused on it. But thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I'm glad I could say it. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a good night.